Welcome to today's video, Matthew 11 verse 30 explained. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. This verse is part of a comforting message from Jesus found in Matthew 11 verses 28 to 30, where he invites those who are weary and burdened to come to him for rest. When Jesus says, "My yoke is easy, and my burden is light," he's offering a refreshing contrast to the difficult burdens many people were facing, especially under the heavy rules and regulations imposed by religious leaders of that time. Jesus is not talking about the physical yoke of oxen, but he uses it as an illustration of his teachings and his way of life, which are meant to guide us rather than weigh us down. The yoke was a wooden frame used to connect two animals, typically oxen, so they could work together in pulling a plow or a load. In the context of people, the yoke symbolizes a kind of responsibility or life path. In this invitation, Jesus is offering a yoke that doesn't oppress, but instead offers peace and freedom. Unlike the yokes of strict legalism or the pressures of trying to live up to human standards, Jesus' yoke is an invitation to walk alongside him, allowing him to guide us and help us. It is the promise of partnership rather than of struggling alone. When Jesus says his yoke is easy, he is highlighting that following him and living according to his teachings isn't a life of unnecessary difficulty or restriction. Instead, it's a life where the load is lightened by the presence of God's love, grace, and support. His commandments are not meant to burden us but to bring joy, peace, and fulfillment. Jesus desires a relationship with us that brings relief to our souls rather than causing stress or discouragement. This verse also reflects that while Jesus does give us responsibilities and calls us to a new way of living, he enables us to fulfill this calling. He doesn't expect us to carry the burdens of life by our own strength. Instead, he gives us the Holy Spirit to help us bear whatever life brings. This makes the journey with Christ sustainable and gives us the endurance and hope we need to face challenges. His light burden contrasts with the heavy loads we might carry on our own, whether they are fears, guilt, or worries. Furthermore, the light burden Jesus describes points us to the love that motivates a life of faith. When we love God, obeying him becomes less of a task and more of a joyful response. His commandments, therefore, become light because they flow from love rather than fear or obligation. Jesus transforms our understanding of obedience by emphasizing a love-centered relationship with God rather than a rules-based system. This is why his yoke feels easy. It's grounded in love and mercy, not in rigid demands. Matthew 11 verse 30 is an invitation to experience peace and assurance in our walk with God. Life itself can be challenging and burdensome, but Jesus promises that we don't have to carry those struggles alone. He doesn't want us to feel exhausted by the pressures of life or by trying to meet impossible standards. Instead, his desire is to uplift us, to give us rest in our souls, and to offer strength that comes from knowing we are accepted and loved by God. By taking on Jesus' yoke, we embrace a life where God's grace sustains us. Thank you for watching. If you found this message uplifting, please remember to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment below. May God's light burden bring peace and joy to your soul. Blessings to you.